Would you look at this? Yet another coaster has gotten stuck. This time, the victim, Sky Rush. Wow. Oh, never mind. Oh, maybe. What is going on? It just started going in, then it stopped. Oh my. What a day here at Hershey Park. Update, Sky Rush is now running, but is crawling. I mean, crawling up the lift hill. That is the slowest I've ever seen Sky Rush go up the lift hill ever. Now approaching the top. This is insane. And now it has now stopped. It has now stopped. It has completed the course at probably the slowest speed I've ever seen. That was crawling through the layout.
Picture this. You're visiting a park and looking forward to riding this one particular ride or roller coaster, and then, it's closed. Well, a couple of years ago, I visited King's Dominion in Doswell, Virginia, and I was looking forward to riding Intimidator 305, which was considered to be one of the best coasters in the world, until I noticed it was not only closed, but there was a train stuck on the lift hill. Though, my disappointment would eventually turn into curiosity, as the train began slowly moving up the elevator-style cable lift hill. I ended up recording this event on my camera, including the point where it crests the hill and traverses the entire layout. The fact the train was moving up the lift hill was something very intriguing to me, and it led me to wonder what exactly was being done here. Fast forward to opening weekend at Hershey Park in 2021, and a similar predicament happened on Sky Rush, a ride built by the same company with a similar cable elevator lift system. Seeing this footage, courtesy of Hershey Addict, led me to ask myself, what are parks exactly doing here? What exactly happens when a ride breaks down? Well, let's start with the source of the downtime itself. This is usually induced during normal operation by a ride fault, which is basically an error or problem which interferes with the ride's ability to properly operate and manage itself, leading it to sort of stall out in a safe position. These can be caused by a number of issues and environmental factors such as wind, temperature, and more, interfering with ride sensors, lift hill or braking components, or even wiring to the main computer, which regulates a roller coaster's safety system, as well as moving parts and overall operation. Other causes for faults include other failing parts, as well as bugs and improper signals, and contradictory data. These faults are relatively common on many roller coasters, and each coaster has a slightly different procedure and checklist for dealing with them, though the process does have a common general pattern practiced by many ride operators and mechanics. When a fault first occurs, the ride will usually slowly stop itself at certain points, such as on the lift hill, main brakes, or sometimes on a mid-course brake run halfway through the layout. When this happens, operators at the ride will either have to perform a basic and quick reset themselves, or if the ride is more complex, call maintenance themselves in order to fix it. If maintenance has to be called, then the process is a bit more intricate, involving the ride being set into a special maintenance mode where sections such as the lift hill can be operated at a slower speed in a more basic state so the trains can get to more proper positions, so the reset can occur much more easily. This is what most likely was being done in the footage you see. If a reset of the ride comes clear and no fault persists, the ride can reopen again after relatively little effort and time being wasted. Basically, this is the equivalent of turning a device off and on again to fix an issue if you're too lazy to figure it out. But if the fault persists and there's still something interfering with the ride, the most likely outcome is that there's an actual malfunctioning component, part, or sensor on the ride which needs to be adjusted, fixed, or replaced. And at this point, maintenance will begin to take more drastic steps in order to fix the problem, and go into the area of the fault in order to inspect components and sections, identify more specific details and causes of the problem, and possibly pick apart components of the ride in order to repair or replace them in order to get the ride working again for guests. Usually, if the fault can be fixed with a simple reset, the maintenance team can usually get the ride up and running again for passengers in about 10 to 15 minutes at most. However, if they have to get their hands dirty in order to fix the problem, the ride can be down for at least a couple of hours, or often even the entire operating day for repairs, adjustments, inspections, and recalibration in order to get everything up and working properly again. Some could even result in a long-term downtime which lasts for large portions of an entire operating season or year in the rare event of being severe enough. Obviously, there is a negative impact to this. These events will disappoint and anger guests as well as further burden existing operating rides with more guests, making other lines longer in the park. However, these are just some of the inconveniences that can come from ride faults. These events not only require valuable time and attention from maintenance staff of a park for the duration of a fault, which could be spent on more productive uses, but if they turn out to require repairs or work, they can quickly become quite expensive to fix and solve on top of previous problems, which can quickly eat directly into the profits from building and maintaining the ride if serious faults and mechanical failures occur often enough. This is often the case with many experimental roller coasters from companies like Intamin, which are known to innovate and are quite eager to think outside the box. Although frequent downtime, even on these coasters, can often be short and require only basic resets, some rides clearly aren't as lucky and are plagued with serious faults quite often. A good example of a ride with frequent severe mechanical issues is Top Thrill Dragster, a ride which has been jokingly called Top Thrill Downtime by fans due to its difficulty operating, breaking down multiple times a day on average. As mentioned, experimental or unconventional rides often use more complex, less well understood mechanisms, features, and components which are often more prone to failure, as these designs are not as well refined or optimized as more well understood and conventional counterparts, which is ultimately Top Thrill Dragster's Achilles heel. In order to accelerate riders to 120 miles per hour down a long track in order to get them over the top hat, which defines the ride, which when it opened was the highest roller coaster element in the world, a complex, intricate, and prototypical system involving hydraulic cylinders and motors powering a giant spinning drum which pulled a cable attached to the train down the track, which all had to be housed in a giant engine room. In addition to that, a giant array of magnetic braking fins ready to pop up and slow the train down in case of emergencies or rollbacks had to be installed along the launch track. With all the numerous and even experimental moving parts, a short failure life resulted, as even minor issues or failures in parts can cause ride faults and breakdowns, leading to all the mechanical problems associated with the ride. Other roller coasters which have fallen victim to being experimental or complex include Batman and Robin the Chiller, Hypersonic XLC, and Lightning Rod, as well as a few others. It also isn't surprising that due to high maintenance costs and difficulty operating these rides, 2 out of the 3 coasters I've just listed are no longer operating today, with only Lightning Rod remaining. Though certain persistent ride problems and flaws can be repaired or mitigated with special and extended preventative maintenance, and frequent experience with fixing specific rides allows repairmen to do their jobs more quickly as they are more used to and understand these rides better, severe downtime and maintenance costs as a result can quickly make or break amusement rides, and often cause them to be closed and removed from their parks much earlier than more reliable counterparts, especially if reductions in ridership make maintenance costs unsustainable. In the end, it's very important for parks for both cost, time, and convenience reasons that their rides remain as reliable as possible for maximum ridership and profitability. This demand for reliability in the industry has led parks to vote with their wallets on who they want to buy rides and roller coasters from, as companies who are known for better functioning rides with less maintenance costs, like B&M and Great Coasters International, gained a lot of sales in the past decade, while other companies with less reliable track records, like Intamin and others, struggled to gain ground in the amusement ride market, leading to Intamin, a renowned amusement ride builder known for some of the most famous rides and roller coasters in the world, to not build a coaster for 5 years between 2012 and 2017 in the United States, likely due to low trust on the behalf of amusement parks. As you can see, there are many rippling effects to this phenomena, and it's a lot deeper than most people realize. I hope you found this video quite informative and interesting, and if there's anything I missed or got wrong or misled people on, please comment down below so I can issue a correction on that information. Or if there's just other stuff you think is relevant and interesting, also put that in the comments below. Again, I'm not a maintenance worker or ride operator. This is simply stuff I've compiled through research and just talking to people who know a lot more about these things than I do. But anyway, that seems to be all for today's video. Leave a like if you liked it, a dislike if you hated it, and be sure to subscribe and check out my other videos while you're at it. And until the next video I make, peace out.